The stillness in my apartment was not just a lack of noise, it was a palpable presence, thick and oppressive. For 3 long months, the rent lingered in silence, untouched and unacknowledged. My choices had faded into shadows. Then came the knock from Mr. Gideon, my landlord, a man whose gaze had a way of lingering, sending shivers down my spine. He sought more than just the overdue payments. He laid forth a proposition I recognized with a haunting clarity I ought to decline. Yet that sly persuader desperation murmured a different tale. I didn't turn away. The unexpected knock on the door sent a shiver down my spine. My tattered robe, a fragile shield against the chaos outside, seemed woefully inadequate as I held it closer. I surrendered it to him. Mr. Gideon's gaze lingered, weaving through the shadows with a tantalizing precision. "Elise," he declared, his tone silky, yet chilling. "You are 3 months overdue." I tightened the robe around me, a gesture that felt utterly pointless. "I understand, Mr. Gideon. I simply need a bit more time." He entered without permission, and the cramped space appeared to tighten in response to his arrival. "It's a lamentable circumstance," he whispered, his eyes locked onto hers, "to witness a woman of your caliber ensnared in such turmoil." His voice dripped with an alluring charm, smooth and enticing, masking an underlying strength that was both captivating and disarming. A wave of warmth surged through me, igniting a fire beneath my skin. "I will uncover a way forward." He released a breath, a carefully crafted echo of disillusionment. "Time, my dear, leaves secrets unspoken and desires unfulfilled." I had traversed every shadowy path, enduring relentless hours, futile pleas for aid, the heart-wrenching farewell to beloved scant treasures. Nothing had ever satisfied the craving. "Please," I murmured, the struggle almost snuffed out. "Just a moment more." He examined me, a glimmer of an enigmatic secret dancing in his gaze. Or maybe there's another way to reach an agreement. A tightness gripped my stomach. The hidden truths, the feared, were finally exposed. "What are you implying?" "Oh, come now, Elise," he murmured with a teasing edge. "You possess a keen insight that captivates the senses." The atmosphere thickened the delicate material of my robe, providing little comfort. "Only we shall know," he murmured, his tone laced with secrecy and intrigue. "This can stay just between us." My heart raced wildly within my chest, a desperate creature ensnared in confinement. He grinned, a subtle yet wicked twist of his mouth, clearly relishing in the turmoil that played across my face. "I hold the power to erase your monetary woes." A breath, unsteady and frayed, slipped from my lips. There existed no alternative paths, no glimmers of hope, just him and the dark deal he laid before her. Gradually, with a haunting stillness, I offered a solitary, forlorn nod. His smile widened, a cunning spark of victory dancing in his gaze. He extended his hand, not seeking any fanciful reward, but for the delicate ribbon of my garment. "An astute choice, my darling." Mr. Gideon guided me to the bedroom, his hold on my arm steady and deliberate. The atmosphere was heavy, pulsating with a forbidden, silent tension. His cologne, a heady, intoxicating aroma, intertwined with an undercurrent of something raw and instinctual, overwhelmed my senses. He moved with purpose. Positioned at the brink of desire, he slowly released his belt with intent. The gentle chime of the metal buckle reverberating through the heavy stillness. "I believe you grasp the weight of what lies ahead, Elise." A chill settled deep within me, constricting my voice. I lingered, my hands clenching into tight balls at my sides. His lips twisted into a shape that hinted at something deeper, a secret just beneath the surface. "There's no reason for such astonishment, Elise. A pact is a pact." An unfamiliar, restless warmth started to unfurl deep inside me. I took a deep breath then, as if under a spell I sank to my knees. His fingers wove through my hair as I leaned closer to him. His heat, his fragrance, an intoxicating embrace that envelops me completely. With a tentative, almost calculated intensity, I brushed my lips against his. He breathed out with intensity, his fingers weaving through my hair, a delicate yet commanding touch. The soft murmurs he started to emit ignited an unanticipated, illicit excitement within me. Despite knowing I should resist, this dangerous allure consumed me, and I surrendered to it. His breath grew heavy, his body coiled with anticipation. He was surrendering to the allure of the moment, to the depths of my being. A peculiar, ephemeral grasp of power danced amidst my own bewilderment. Just as I discovered an unsettling cadence, he withdrew suddenly. His breath uneven, his demeanor clearly unraveling. He was on the edge of surrender. Climb aboard, he breathed, his tone heavy with a primal, desperate craving. I complied, ascending and settling onto the bed, my robe cascading open entirely as I positioned myself over him. His hands eagerly traced my thighs, gliding over my skin, gripping as if to imprint every curve in his memory. That's it. He breathed, his gaze deep and smoldering, ensnared in mine. I leaned in closer, drawing myself into his orbit. A breathless sigh slipped from my mouth as I descended upon him. He sighed, his hands gripping my waist with a fervent intensity. Your presence exceeds my wildest dreams. I struggled to dismiss the treacherous heat that coursed through me at his utterance. This was merely a transaction devoid of any deeper connection. Yet as I started to shift, an intense, inescapable wave of ecstasy coursed through my reluctant form. My body betrayed me, reacting with a fervor, a desire that filled me with dread. I bit my lip, fighting to maintain an expression of calm, yet within me a simmering warmth twisted and unfurled with each subtle movement. Proceed! Elise, he implored, his tone heavy with unspoken desires. Take me with a fervor that speaks volumes. His hold was unyielding, steering me forward. I followed his orders, urgency building within me, my breath turning ragged and unsteady. Every movement ignited a forbidden thrill within me, blurring the lines of denial as I struggled to mask the truth of my feelings. He flashed a knowing grin, as if he could pierce the veil of my facade. You're reveling in this, aren't you? He breathed softly. No, I deceived my breath, catching treacherously as I quickened my pace. His hold became more intense, his form aligning with mine in an exquisite, relentless cadence. The electricity between us escalating, becoming more profound, more consuming. I tightened my jaw, fighting to suppress any sound that could reveal the secret of my body's reaction. Press on, he murmured, his grip, faltering, his gaze locked onto mine. Savoring each shift, every silent response. I sank my fingers into his skin, clinging tightly as an intoxicating wave surged within me, on the verge of overflowing. His breath caught his body coiling with anticipation beneath me. And then with a final trembling breath, his hands held me captive as he surrendered to the moment. I trailed behind moments later, my body quaking from the unforeseen fervor. But I stifled my cries, maintaining an inscrutable facade as I fell against him, my body still vibrating with the remnants of ecstasy. For a fleeting instant we lingered in silence, breaths, intertwined bodies glistening and alive. Then with a deliberate slowness, I shifted away from him, perching at the edge of the bed. Silence enveloped me, words eluding my grasp. Yet beneath the surface, the truth lingered in the shadows. I found myself, despite all logic, savoring each moment completely, and thus unmistakably had he. I lingered at the edge of the bed, wrapping my robe tightly, yet it offered scant protection for what had already been laid bare. My skin remained electrified, my breath lingering in a disarray. His gaze lingered, a silent promise hanging in the air, filled with unspoken desires. You caught me off guard, Elise. His voice flowed like silk, laced with a teasing mirth. Your delight caught me off guard, to say the least. A spark of desire ignites within me. I turned a blind eye to it. It was merely an arrangement, I breathed softly. He let out a low, sultry laugh. Of course, if that's the reality you choose to embrace. Silence lingered heavy and charged between us. Shame should have enveloped me, yet it remained distant. Not completely. A fragment of my being had undeniably relished it more than I dared to confess. I have another enticing offer for you, he murmured then. My eyes flickered in his direction. "What are you implying?" He reclined against the headboard, his shirt left undone, his gaze shrouded in mystery. "You relished this. I can sense it in the air. And there are men, astute men, who would gladly part with their riches for a woman of your allure." I tensed. "Surely you jest." Not even a hint. His gaze lingered, filled with unspoken secrets. "You claimed there were no paths left yet. The possibilities linger in the shadows. This talent could be transformed into a source of wealth." My breath caught in my throat. "That's intriguing." This was merely... I paused, the silence heavy with unspoken truths. "What is it exactly?" His smirk grew more enigmatic. "Only a small request, simply for amusement." I averted my gaze, thoughts swirling in a tempest. I ought to have felt revulsion, yet I found myself unable to deny the truth in his words. I had relished every moment, and now the idea of indulging once more, of being desired, of wielding power, of crafting something from the void, felt far from unattainable. "It's entirely up to you," he murmured, rising to his feet, fastening his shirt with a knowing glance. "Your consent isn't mandatory. Yet should you choose to indulge, I am aware of 2 suitors who would offer a handsome sum for an evening in your company." A shiver coursed through my veins. Not merely 1, but 2. I took a deep breath. It should have been a simple rejection, yet it was anything but. "What is the price?" His grin deepened, a hint of mischief dancing in his eyes. "Beyond anything you've ever earned in just one night throughout your existence." I released my breath with a deliberate slowness, feeling the thrum of my heartbeat echoing in my ears. Under the veil of darkness, 2 souls collide, a decision that could unravel it all. I raised my chin and gave a single deliberate nod. "Very well." Mr. Gideon smirked, his fingers dancing toward his phone. "Well done, darling. I'll take the plunge." The following evening, I found myself before the mirror caressing a new dress as it clung to my curves. It clung to every curve daringly cut to tease the imagination. Mr. Gideon had chosen it himself, paired with heels that elongated my legs in a way I had almost forgotten. The reflection before me was almost unrecognizable. My hands quivered ever so slightly as I ran my fingers through my hair. What stirred this unease within me? My decision was already sealed. The path ahead was irrevocably set. "You look exquisite," Mr. Gideon breathed from the shadows of the doorway. His gaze lingered on me, deliberate and admiring. "They'll desire you." I took a deep breath, letting it escape slowly through my nostrils. "Who are they shrouded in mystery, companions?" He grinned slyly. "Those who give freely. Bid them farewell. Elise, and the burden of rent will fade into the shadows forever." A soft rap at the entrance. My breath faltered. They had arrived. Mr. Gideon's smirk grew more enigmatic. "The stage is set, darling." I pivoted toward the door, my pulse racing as my fingers brushed against the handle. And then I unveiled it. 2 men, lingered gazes, shadowed faces, cloaked in mystery. And they came for me. I guided them into the chamber, my heart racing, every movement heavy with expectation. My heels whispered against the floor, the atmosphere thick with secrets yet to be revealed. They lingered near their essence, enveloping me, 2 pairs of eyes, 2 men whose focus was entirely on me. I had consented to this intrigue. There was an undeniable part of me that craved this, oddly enough. Yet deep within a tumult brewed a flicker of doubt mingling with an exhilarating thrill. The imposing figure with a commanding presence was the first to extend his hand towards me. His hand found its place at my waist, strong and intentional, his fingers grazing softly, as if etching every contour into his mind. The other, leaner, sharper-eyed, quiet, yet profoundly aware, hovered just behind his breath, a heated whisper against the nape of my neck, igniting an unforeseen shiver along my spine. "Let's handle this." The first whispered, his fingers gliding over the strap of my dress, playfully tugging at the fabric as our eyes locked. Gradually veils unraveled, draping down with a seductive grace. Fingers traced paths, discovering savoring as the chill of the breeze caressed my flesh. I leaned in closer, my fingers gliding over the taut contours, hidden beneath fabric, gauging their reaction with every delicate caress. Their gaze lingered on me, a silent anticipation hanging in the air. A languid breath escaped my mouth. There was an undeniable urgency, a craving to deliver precisely what they had been longing for. I advanced with deliberate purpose, my fingers deftly navigating the fastenings of their belts, unfastening each one, slowly sensing the taut anticipation hidden within the barriers separating us. Each breath grew heavier bodies, intertwining as I ventured deeper, heat emanating from every caress. A soft murmur slipped from the first man, a rich tone of admiration as he lifted my chin, locking his eyes with mine, revealing an enigmatic depth in his gaze. In that moment, he breathed out softly, his tone velvety, laced with an undercurrent of intrigue. A thrilling warmth coiled within me, a blend of excitement and peril in the way their eyes lingered on me. Knees bent, movements slow and intentional. I descended, fingers entwined with theirs, heat radiating against my skin. One lingered close to my lips, a quiet beckoning poised for my choice. I leaned in, inviting him closer, savoring the warmth, outlining his form with intentional precision. Above me, he drew in a breath, his fingers dancing through my hair, leading me with the softest caress. The second man lingered in my thoughts. My other hand lavished him with equal care, tantalizing, eliciting every response. His breath caught fingers gliding along the curve of my jaw as he examined me, lost in the intensity of each fleeting second. Their shared aura, the subtle murmurs they exchanged, the charged atmosphere enveloping us, ignited a languid, intense heat unfurling within me. "That's it," one of them breathed, his voice thick, laden with a dark, intoxicating pleasure. In an instant, the words ignited a thrilling surge within me. They allowed me to drift through their depths, inviting me to wander, to surrender completely to their allure. Then one of them leaned back a fraction, clearing his throat, as if to reclaim his composure. "Approach," he beckoned, his tone hushed, unwavering. "The beginning is only the first chapter of our tale." I sank into the mattress, my breath hitching my body alive with a restless yearning. The towering figure settled between my legs, his fingertips tracing languid, intentional circles on my inner thighs, tantalizing, amplifying the suspense. The other shifted closer, his fingers brushing against my chin, angling my face toward him, his eyes capturing mine with a smoldering intensity. "Let's uncover the depths of your allure." The initial whisper slipped through the air, rich and teasing, tinged with a playful undertone. As he descended, his breath caressed my skin, igniting a spark that coursed through me, sending tremors of anticipation in its wake. A breathless intake lingered in my throat as his lips roamed over me, his touch languid, intentional and measured. My fingers entwined with the sheets, clenching them tightly, as every motion ignited a new wave of exquisite feeling within me. The second man drew closer, his breath mingling with mine as the kiss intensified, our lips melding together in a tantalizing dance. I embraced him, allowing his heat to envelop me, silencing the moans that slipped from my lips as desire surged between us. They danced in exquisite harmony, one teasing me with his lips, the other pulling me further into the embrace, his fingers weaving through my hair, holding me tight. "She's mesmerizing." One of them breathed, his voice dripping with desire. There was a thrill in the air, a daring spark that urged me forward, leaving doubt behind. Desire burned within me, and it was evident to all around. They enveloped me with an ease that felt almost predestined, steering me, molding me into place, as if they were attuned to my deepest desires. Now I found myself on all fours, my body quivering alive with the echoes of their caress. The second man, the one who had lingered in the shadows, observing and biding his time, stepped closer, his hands firm on my waist, anchoring me in the moment. "Are you prepared for what comes next?" he inquired, his voice a sultry murmur laden with secrets. Before I could utter a word, he advanced a deliberate, lingering force that ignited a profound, insatiable heat coursing through my veins. My breath caught in my throat, fingers gripping the sheets as my body surrendered to his presence. He sighed quietly, his hold tightening around me, his actions measured and intentional, as if relishing each second. The initial figure stepped closer, his fingertips gliding along my jawline, urging my eyes to rise to meet his. "Allow me to sense your presence," he whispered. I opened my mouth, inviting him in, the warmth of his body, pressing against me, the cadence of his breath intertwining with my own. In that moment, his voice was a soft caress, his thumb gliding over my cheek, fingers weaving through my hair with an intoxicating intimacy. They intertwined, each leading me, their movements melding one, anchoring my form, the other capturing my gaze entirely. A soft sigh slipped from my lips, the tremors causing the man before me to draw in a breath, his fingers tightening against my flesh. Behind me, the second man shifted his movements smooth and enticing, eliciting another gasp from me as a heat ignited deep within my core. "You crave this, don't you?" One of them breathed softly, his tone playful, filled with secrets. I sighed quietly, my body revealing secrets, the reality clear in each gesture, each whisper. I certainly did. I savored each moment completely. They had only just begun. They shifted me once more, elevating and maneuvering me effortlessly into a fresh stance, directing me precisely to their desires. Now I found myself atop the first man, his hands gripping my hips, with a possessive strength anchoring me in place as our eyes locked, a glimmer of satisfaction dancing on his lips. "Show me the depths of your desire," he whispered, his hold firming just enough to anchor me. A soft sigh slipped from my mouth as I lowered myself onto him, a profound heat blossoming within the sensation, igniting another tremor along my spine. His head arched back into the pillows, a soft moan escaping his lips as I pressed closer to him. Yet lingering in the shadows, the second man had more to say. His fingers danced along the curve of my back, a tantalizing exploration that held a promise lingering in the air as I braced for my response. A quick inhale escaped my lips, a thrilling tension coiling within me as a moment of doubt collided with an overwhelming desire. He leaned closer, his breath a tantalizing warmth brushing against my ear. "Let the moments linger," he breathed softly. "I will lead you into the depths of it." I breathed out, my body coiling, shifting a lingering surrender as he advanced closer. The tension crackled in the air, each second lingering. Our forms entwined in an exquisite dance. That's all there is. One of them sighed just like that. The voice lingered in the air, shrouded in mystery. I was utterly consumed, swept away by the rhythm of their movements, the caress of their skin, the warmth of their breath, our bodies entwined in perfect harmony. They moved in perfect harmony, one anchoring my hips, while the other drew nearer, their actions deliberate and measured. The tension escalated gradually, coursing through my veins in ripples, my breath quickening as the feeling wound itself more and more tightly. "You're extraordinary," one of them breathed, his tone awed, laced with an unfiltered intensity. "Gaze upon her," the other murmured, his fingers gliding along my spine, sending shivers through me, utterly entranced by the moment. I existed. I was unable to restrain myself any longer. The intensity within me twisted and tightened, reaching a climactic release that left me utterly undone, a surge of heat cascading through my being in rhythmic pulses. Then a breath caught from below his fingers, digging into my flesh. His body tightening as his pace stumbled, a soft sound escaping him, his hold anchoring me as he surrendered, mirroring my release. The moment lingered heavy with unspoken secrets before dissolving into a tender embrace. The atmosphere thickened each heartbeat, echoing secrets as our breaths intertwined in a delicate dance. In the hushed stillness that followed, a fresh revelation started to emerge. What I once dismissed as unappealing now ignited a fire within me, a yearning I couldn't ignore. Life with its harsh truths peeled back my facades, thrusting me into a revelation I never anticipated but was now inescapably drawn to. It transcended the notions of right and wrong, delving into the tangled, often conflicting realities that emerge when one is driven to the very edge of their being. This journey unfolded unexpectedly, yet it became my own, revealing a power and tenacity within me that I had never recognized before.